Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We got a good one today. We're gonna rebuild Kevin's machine. We're gonna take out the existing copper pipe and we're gonna build a new copper pipe plumb up system. And
we're gonna add a few things.
Yes,
he's gonna add a GPU water block. Jeez. So we will take the air cooler off the 3070. We'll put the water block on. We're going to put, I just have this rad mounted on the bottom just for airflow right now because I didn't have all the pieces right away. We're going to put that in the front, leave the top rad on, redo all the copper pipe, and it should be good to go.
Yeah, it's going to look awesome. So we decided to do something different. As you can see in here that this was soldered, and on Kevin's machine, we didn't
go crazy.
We didn't go crazy with the sanding like we did on mine in the previous video on this channel. We sanded all the extra solder off and made it look as nice as possible. However, we're not going to use solder this time. We're going to use epoxy, and we have a test piece that we have epoxied on a 45.
And
we tried everything we could, barring pliers and a vise, and
it's not coming off.
It's not coming off. It's not going to go anywhere.
And it'll look super clean.
Yeah, it'll be super clean. There'll be no solder. We're gonna do a sand treatment on the pipes again.
Yeah.
And I think this is gonna end up being a really clean build. There was a fellow who was commenting on my build. I can't remember his name, but I'm gonna link it in the video here. I'll put a blurb down below. He suggested that we use some vernier calipers to measure, which was a great idea because we were just using a ruler and a measuring tape. So I have a digital vernier caliper. My battery's dead, but it don't matter. We'll just use the markings. It's fine. And so that should help us do a little bit more precise measuring. And I'm also going to link this fellow's build pictures in this video. He was kind enough to send some pictures because he uses stainless steel pipe, and he does, he's got a bending jig or machine, or a bender, I guess, a pipe bender. Let's call it a pipe bender. Yep. He's got a pipe bender, and I've looked at his pictures. They're pretty nice. So right around this point here, I'll start inserting some pictures of his builds. And we won't do stainless steel this time, but I think it's a great idea for another build in the future. However, we'll get set up and we'll get going, and we'll start the disassembly. So I think maybe we'll just check in at key moments as we disassemble.
Yeah, disassembly's assembly.
If you guys want to see a computer disassembled, there's 100 million freaking YouTube videos for that, so we don't need to see that.
Nothing special.
So yeah, we're gonna check back in once the computer's all apart, and then we'll get going on the build out. Back in a bit. All right, so we're all disassembled. We're gonna start the measuring. We aren't going to bore you guys with measuring and cutting pipes.
No, that's just too boring.
It's too boring, yeah. The video that I did on my computer, the consensus was nobody needs to see us cutting and measuring pipes, so no. we ain't going to do it.
I'll show you the final assembly.
Yeah, so we're thinking what we'll do is we'll just kind of build one leg of the loop, and we'll just give a little update like, hey, that part's done. But yeah, anyway, we'll bring you back when we have something. All right, so we have the case over there with the fans and rads and water block and stuff ready to rock and roll. We're going to mount the water block to the GPU. We won't film this because it's way too involved and it's too many steps, and the video would be way too long. So we'll come back once this water block is attached. And if you really, really want to see a water block install, which is not particularly exciting,
you can go to the EK's website.
You can go to the EK website, or there's 10,000 YouTube videos that show that. But suffice to say, the fin stack and fan assembly comes off. It leaves just the board. The water block goes on. there's a nice, beautiful back plate right here that's going to replace this back plate. It's going to look sick, so we'll bring you back. All right, GPU's disassembled. There's the fin stack and fans, and this is just the card itself. So we got to get all this residue cleaned off and get ready to go. And the kit comes with new thermal pads. That's for the front. This thermal pads is for the rear plate. This rear plate looks so nice too. You'll see it afterwards. So, okay, we're going to get all this cleaned up. We'll come back once the water block's completely on and the back, it's actually fully assembled. Back in a bit. Okay, so GPU's done. It's looking just absolutely beautiful. It's ready to rock and roll. We have our first run done, and we'll bring you back when we have our second run done. Okay, many moments later, we just got into the groove and we just went for it. It isn't glued. It still needs to be tweaked to get, you know, straightness and, you know, horizontal and vertical straightness, and make sure everything looks lined up. But that's our trombone of pipes. So we just need to mix the epoxy. Oh, and by the way, we ended up reusing a run because, I mean, whatever.
It worked.
It's there. It was already made for it. The pump and block didn't move. And then we also just reused this little piece. But we are going to completely remove any trace of solder. The rest are going to be epoxied. And I think that's still good enough for the idea of using epoxy instead of solder. So yeah, we'll be back after we have this stuff glued and straight and sanded. All right, so basically we're done, and we didn't sand the pipes yet. Kevin's going to let that epoxy hang out for a week or two, and then we'll pull those pipes off and we'll sand them up. However, I think it turned out pretty good. And this is a no solder copper pipe loop using 5-minute epoxy. And we think it turned out pretty good.
It did turn out good.
Yep. It was kind of a little bit of a brain bender to figure out what fittings to put on and where and how to get things to line up, because you have to be in line with all your fittings, ins and outs. You can't go on, you know, you can't be an angle. And yeah, I don't know what else there is to say. I think it looks pretty damn good.
It does look good.
Yeah, and this computer has a tempered glass case that will go here, and it's pretty compact. There's still a little bit of air in the loop. That'll come out eventually. But yeah, if you want to build a copper loop and you don't have a way to solder, or you don't have soldering skills, epoxy works good. I don't know if I can get a close up here. So I won't focus, but yeah, we'll use a little bit of alcohol or whatever later, and we'll clean up whatever residue was on there. Actually, the sanding is going to take care of that. The sanding will take care of that. And of course, get rid of the stickers and stuff, because that's not done. The only thing that we would say is we used 5-minute epoxy, and you got to work quick. So if you do this, I would suggest 15-minute, or maybe even epoxy that 2 to 4 hour.
Exactly.
Just something to give you a better open working time.
Yeah.
And when we did this, the fittings were coated inside and outside when we put them together. And that makes a little ridge of epoxy inside the fitting and also on the outside. And then you just wipe off the excess. But this is it's solid as a rock. Yeah. Well, this one will flex because it's a long run. Yeah. But this is solid as a rock. It's honestly, I feel it's just as solid as when we soldered the pipes. And here's a cool thing. This was our test piece that we made, and I put a drill bit. I put a drill bit that was that would fit on the inside of the copper pipe. And I clamped it in the vise, and then I took a pair of pliers and I tried to twist this top off. And in no way, it was actually twisting the copper in the jaws of the vise. And then I squished this in the vise, and that connection's not coming undone. And if you can deform copper in a vise with a pair of pliers, and it doesn't come apart, there's nothing you can do in there that's going to make that joint break. So yeah, there you have it. Successful build. What do you think?
It's good. I like it.
You like it?
I'm happy.
Yeah, it's nice. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll put the covers and stuff on and just give you a quick little look of the PC when it's all back together. Back in a bit. All right. Hopefully it's not too dark. I think it looks pretty dang good. And
sure does.
Got the glass back on, and well, now it's too dark here, but yeah, it looks pretty nice. And once in a couple of weeks from now, I mean, that epoxy won't take 2 weeks to fully cure, but we'll leave it like that.
Yeah.
We'll pull all them pipes out and sand them. Let me hit that light again. Yeah, pull those things out and sand them. And this is a nice little compact unit that's got 5800 X3D CPU and a 3070 graphics card. What's that block? It's so
the GPU block is a EK
Vector XC3. There it is. Yeah.
And then the CPU block is a Corsair block.
Yeah, I love those EK blocks. They're so nice. And then Kevin went with the blood red EK Cryo Fuel Blood Red. Looks good. And once those air bubbles, I don't know if you can see them, they'll come out eventually. Oh, there's a big glare on the glass, but yeah, it's done. It's looking good.
Yay!
And I kind of think that it's honestly way easier with the epoxy than it was soldering.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and because the soldering, you kind of dry fit it and you mark it and you pull it all out and then you solder it up, and then it's eventually, inevitably wrong, and then you have to try to like loosen a joint you've just soldered and tweak it by 1 millimeter. Yeah. And with the epoxy, you just put it all in with all the joints epoxied, and then you tweak it and you let it sit there. And then it's done. It's over with.
Exactly.
So yeah, there you have it, folks.
Cool.
Awesome. Good job, Mr. Kevin.
Good job, Mr. Mike.
All right. As always, please please subscribe, and definitely comment. I'm looking, and Kevin's looking at every comment. We're still a young channel, and we have the ability to look and reply to every comment. So go ahead. We'll reply. And if you want us to do some sort of project,
just let us know.
Let us know,
whatever,
and we'll try and do it. Our channel is basically, I think, pretty well rounded as far as what we're open to doing. So obviously we've done some mechanical stuff, and we're doing some computer things, and we've done some nitro RC stuff, and yeah, just. You got a suggestion? Make a comment down below. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you in the next one.